All right, so we're joined today by Bink. Bink and I were going to launch another kind of series in our new network thing that we're doing, um, beer related, and we'll get there eventually. Um, if it wasn't for the little news last night that broke, Bob and I are very familiar with it. Bink, are you familiar with the little wrestling news that broke last night?
You mean how the Saudis are trying to control the world?
Uh, that's it.
Yeah.
It's been a great show, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Keep drinking.
No, so if news broke late last night, it was about 10:30 my time. So a couple of random, and I won't say that they were unknown. I think they run maybe mid-level wrestling rumor mill websites. Would that be a good way of putting it, Bob?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah. There was, I can't remember who the hell, because as soon as I got home, first thing I did after I took the dog out was hop on
Take a
What
shit?
Culture.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I did that too. No, I hopped on whatculture.com, well, their YouTube page. I sat in my recliner, put YouTube on the TV, and checked out What Culture and what they had to say. And it was one of the people was actually, I want to say, was associated with Fightful, with Sean Ross Sapp's organization or somebody. But there was also that one guy from DAZN, DAZN. I don't know.
Yeah, Daz, and it was
that.
Steven something or other. I don't know his last name.
He's
Not
since
Seagal, right?
No, not
Steven
Seagal.
Seagal.
Okay.
No.
Or Steven Seagal. He's since deleted all of his tweets because it was proven wrong, or at least people denying it. Ariel Helwani came out and denied it, and some reputable sources came out and denied the whole sale and everything. But yeah, man, the firestorm that started around 9:30 last night and just blossomed into a fucking supernova of hatred and just vitriol and everything, like over the sale of WWE to Saudi Arabia's what is it called? It's the financial.
Yeah, it's best I can think.
Is
Best
that
I
the same
can.
one who owned the Live Golf?
They own
Yes.
Live Golf, and they
Yeah.
own is it Newcastle United?
Yeah, they own a soccer or football team, whatever. But
No,
yeah, they own
soccer team.
whatever.
Fuck those
Yeah.
motherfuckers.
Yeah, I know.
We're in America. Soccer.
Exactly.
I'm trying to look. We have fans in like Iceland and stuff, so we gotta,
Yeah,
no,
but
we don't.
just the translators will fix that.
Well, I'm sure they will. It's just going to be nothing but like blank for you.
Yeah, fuck you.
So yeah, no, the story was broke by basically two guys that had following. And again, I'm not saying that having 5 followers or having 5 million followers are any different, but these guys were middle of the road wrestling reporters, or quote unquote reporters, that had anywhere from 5 to 10,000 followers. Look, I've been a wrestling fan for a long time. I followed the dirt sheets for many years. Very familiar with a lot of the big names. I was not familiar with either of these guys that broke it, and it just kind of smelled a little fishy. The thing that I stuck in my head though all night, from the time I went to sleep, the time I woke up, was that no one denied it. That was a crazy thing. It's not like anyone flat out said, "Oh, this was fake." This is not a word. So it was like, and then Bink. I don't know if
Stephanie quit or resigned.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just about to ask you that, so I didn't know if you'd seen that. Yeah, she resigned. Now that was coming. But then you couple that with Saudi Arabia news, and it's they don't exactly treat females with much dignity or respect. So that was kind of like a weird. I don't know how to put it. It was just strange timing.
Tom's blacklisted on going to Saudi Arabia now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But no, it was just very strange how that all kind of shook out. So, but yeah, she was supposed to walk away anyway. I think she was more of like kind of filling a gap between Vince leaving the first time, kind of because he had to. I'm still not entirely sure why he's back now or how he got back.
so he's
Maybe
back.
part of the contract with the Saudis.
Dude, that's exactly. Here's the thing. I don't buy that this isn't legit, and I don't buy that they eventually won't just sell to Saudi. My reasoning being, what leads up to it for me is Vince has been playing this the whole fucking time. Vince has been playing this game the whole time. The Saudis wanted to buy it. He wasn't ready to get rid of it. He gets forced out of his position. He's like, well, how am I going to get back into my position? Well, the Saudis will put me back in. They don't give a shit about these women that I, did whatever with. So he brokers a backdoor deal with the Saudis. Backroom deal, rather, not backdoor. Well, there might have been some backdoor involved too.
Yeah, it was
But
definitely back to with Vince.
yeah. But he brokers a backroom deal with Saudi. He starts making it happen, reinstalls himself, puts himself back in a position to take things over once they take it private. They must have agreed. Part of the agreement must have been that, hey, we'll give you back creative control and you can be whatever position you want in the company, but we'll own it. You'll run it. You'll be the face. And then when news broke before WWE was ready for it to break, before they had prepared their investors and everything else, they have no choice but to deny it.
Yeah.
Has the stock option changed on? Has it gone up or down? I haven't looked.
That's a good question. Let's see. Today it didn't have much change. 74 cents down a share. Really, what's crazy though? In the last week, the stock has gone up $20 a share. It had a spike. Yeah, it had a spike back on right at about a week ago. So last Thursday, it spiked up about that $20 mark, and or $18, and it went up another couple bucks over the last few days. That's an interesting question. I didn't even think to look at that. So that tells me the stock shooting up like that last week. There's some insider there.
Well, yeah. Wasn't that around when they announced that JP Morgan was getting involved to facilitate the sale?
That's right. You're right. So, but here, let's go back into what we talked about, on this many, many times. Our thoughts were always, hey, this is going to sell to Disney. It's going to sell to NBC, Comcast, Universal, whatever they call it. It's going to sell to a big entity that's, would make sense. For what it's worth, the Saudi deal is essentially selling it to their government. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like a private investor that, hey, I'm, we joked about Elon Musk buying it, it's not like I'm him. I'm going to buy it and that's all mine now. No, this is basically selling it to the government, which is insane. Absolutely insane. And that's kind of what I thought, initially. It was like, if you look back at the those deals where they finally did like the crown jewel shows, which are awful. I'm sorry if you've ever seen one.
No, dude, I've refused to watch them.
Bink, have you ever seen those crown jewel episode or
saw one of them? It was bad, and I didn't bother.
They're just really, really bad. I saw the one where was it Kane and the Undertaker tagged against Shawn and Trips? I think that was the match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say.
That was the one where Shawn came out with, and he had the wig on, and then he took the wig off or something like that, right?
Yeah, and it was just so bizarre. And it's crazy because I love all four of those guys in the ring. But it was just not good, but the whole show, I've watched a couple of them like that, and it's just not good. And I think the first one they ran, I don't think women were even allowed to attend.
No.
Yeah, women weren't allowed to attend, and then when they finally were allowed to wrestle, they had to wrestle in what amounted to sweatsuits.
Hmm.
Like, it's just there's nothing good about the Saudi shows. The money is blood money. There's the government there is fucking disgusting. Sorry if you're a Saudi Arabian. I'm sorry, but I hate your country. I think your country sucks. I've never been a fan of a of the Middle Eastern countries that are theology or theocracies rather. Um, you can't. I don't know. I've got a lot of thoughts and not a good way to put them out without sounding like a racist piece of shit. Um, but like, just I'm sorry, man. The Middle East. I'm not a fan.
And you've been there, haven't you? Not there, but you've been.
Turkey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it's a shame because there's plenty of great people in all those countries,
Of course.
But
Yeah.
like,
As I said,
I don't
95% of the population on the planet is awesome.
right.
It's those handful of people that are just ugh.
I don't hate the people of any country. I hate the governments of the countries, and I hate the policies of countries. I hate the way that countries are run. But that said,
Except for the Dutch.
except for the, yeah. No, like I mean, I just can't see the WWE. Its business model is incongruent with the way that their governments run their countries. There's too much. They don't jive, man. They don't go together. It's
Here's
like
my thing on it. No government entity, I don't care what country you are, should have anything like that. Ever. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, they already own like I said, they already own that fucking soccer team and like Bink said, the fucking golf league. Like
Mhm.
what they're trying to do is by buying these organizations, by buying these teams, these leagues, they're trying to make it look like, oh, hey, look, we're not so bad. Don't worry about our atrocious fucking human rights records and how we jail people for being gay and how we fucking beat and stone our women to death because they fucking showed an ankle. Like, no, man, you're fucking a terrible country. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they call that sports washing.
Yes.
It's an interesting thing. So if you're listening to this, you've never heard that term, look it up. It's basically like you just said. It's using sports or sports and entertainment in the sense of WWE to basically cover up any injustices and any transgressions that their country has done. And
Well, look at the FIFA that just happened. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate soccer, didn't watch any of it, but they killed thousands of people to build those stadiums. Thousands.
That's
And,
it's a fantastic point.
And they're just publicizing sports. I mean, everything went off in a hitch. I guess everything was fine, but they're not showing the backstory of the actual people building those stadiums in 150-degree heat, 12-hour days.
Well, that's the reason nothing bad happened was because all the terrorists were the ones supporting the. All right,
Well,
sorry, I had to
there's
cut that.
bribery and all that other stuff, obviously, with FIFA, but
Yeah. Well, no, and that's the thing. Like, FIFA is one of the most corrupt organizations in the fucking world. Like, they're
the mafia.
yeah, no, they really are. They're fucking terrible, and
Yeah.
that's why I don't want the World Cup to come anywhere near the United States. But I think isn't Philly hosting some games, and San Antonio or something like. I think the next World Cup is going to be in the
Yeah, the next World Cup is U.S., Canada, and Mexico, and we have the most amount of games. I don't know where the games are, but
Fuck that, man.
Yeah, what's the World Cup would be 26?
26? Yeah, it's every 4 years. It's 26.
Let's see. World Cup cities. Okay, so here's what you got. It's actually all over the place, supposedly. You've got MetLife, so Jersey, LA, Dallas, San Fran, Miami, Atlanta, Seattle, and Houston. Possibly
Okay.
more. I don't know.
Well, yeah, keep him the fuck out of Philly.
Yeah, I don't see Philly listed, but I see MetLife's, which is who cares about them anyway?
Shit, it's New
Yeah.
York.
I'm glad Chicago's not on that list.
No, oh, I'm sorry, guys. That was I should have clicked into the article. I will read you the complete list.
Oh,
It is. I'm sorry. It is New York, L.A., Dallas, San Fran, Miami, Atlanta, Seattle, Houston, Philly, Kansas City, and Boston.
Yes, no Chicago.
But I wonder, is the Philly one going to be at Lincoln Financial Field? Or
Yes, sir. It's at the link.
God damn it.
Yeah, they're all at football stadiums.
That's going to screw you guys' grass.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that they'd have it at the fucking the Union
Parking
Stadium.
lot?
Well, I mean, I personally they could have it in the fucking Delaware River for all I care. But
hey, Camden River Shore Stadium's open, isn't it? Why don't they just have it down there?
Yeah, they should. Actually, I think they knocked it down, which is a shame because it was a beautiful little stadium.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's weird. It wasn't even that old.
Unless I mean, well, no, you know what? I guess maybe Rutgers baseball plays there. Rutgers Camden baseball must play there. But no, I was hoping they'd go to the Union Stadium in Chester and let
yeah, that'd be fun.
let all the
one positive thing is they're not building any new stadiums for this stupid thing.
Yeah, that's the best part about it because so many people die making these fucking stadiums and they don't give a shit about them.
No.
You know? It's fucking terrible. Fuck FIFA.
Wow. It's really cool. I love how our pod goes sometimes where we start off talking about how WWE sells and then doesn't sell to the Saudis to a complete absolute hatred for FIFA. It's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, you're talking about essentially the same fucking organization or the same type of organization where FIFA isn't a government per se, but they are. And they're just as fucking dirty and corrupt and filthy as fucking Saudi Arabia, as Qatar, as a lot of these fucking Middle Eastern countries where the human rights abuses just they turn a blind eye to it.
Yep.
And what
just like the Olympic Committee is the other one too.
100%. I was at the IOC. Is that what that is?
Yeah, the IOC.
Yeah,
I mean, they've used Russia and China everywhere where they can go to get, human rights just out the window.
Right. Yeah. The Olympic Committee is a fucking piece of shit too. Fuck them too.
Yeah. I feel like after we post this one, we're getting up on a list.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck them all. Come for me, bitches. Fucking do it. I'll be waiting on the front lawn with a fucking baseball bat. Let's go.
I mean, I love the Olympics, and I've actually been to two, but they're just so corrupt on what they do and the process and everything. I know quite a bit, and it's disgusting how much bribery and money. Ones that came out were Salt Lake City and Tokyo, where they just bought the games. But there was other ones. Obviously, Beijing and Russia, they just flat out bought them.
Right. And then look at what happens to all the areas after the Olympics come through or FIFA comes, the World Cup comes
Most
through.
of them are white elephants.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I can't remember which one it was, but I watch a lot of the Mysteries of the Abandoned or something like that where they talk about it. And one of them went through, I believe it was in the 70s or 80s, the Olympic Village that was built for the town. I forget, it was for the Winter Olympics, I believe. I just can't remember where, but it was completely abandoned. Wasn't used for anything. It was just this basically, hey, we built this town, people lived here. Here's what the quarters were for the athletes. Here's where the shops were, this arena, this whatever, and just completely abandoned. And it's not that old. We're talking 30, 40 years.
Well, Athens is that way, where all the stadiums are just abandoned and not used and just shit's growing through them. And it's just absolutely crazy. There's only been a few successes after Olympics have been at a city. Salt Lake City is one of them, where they're still using the venues and still making money on those games. But, stuff like Beijing, they'll just, the Bird's Nest, they had to basically gut the whole thing to redo it for the Olympics. And that was from 2008 to 2022. So in 16 years, the stadium went in disarray and they just had to kind of redo everything.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
What was it? Atlanta when they hosted it in 96, and didn't the Braves play there for a bit?
Yeah,
they repurposed that stadium, didn't they?
Mhm.
And the
So
Braves
there was
played
Fulton
it.
County, which the Braves were still in, and then there was Turner Field, but it was named something Olympic Stadium or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And they tore out like because it was a big oval, obviously, for the track. And they tore out the end of the track and made the rest of the baseball stadium, but that stadium's gone already. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
They've
even up for
already-
25 years. They
Right.
yeah, they already play in
Well, it is in a shit neighborhood. I will give it that.
yeah,
Well, you
that
know what,
whole
though?
area is just not good.
Here's the thing, and this is what kills me. How many fucking homeless people are there? All over the place.
I know there's one in Christopher.
Yeah. It has a snow globe.
But
Had a snow globe.
but for real, like how many fucking let's take it like this, okay? In the United States, how many homeless people are there?
Oh, a lot. And then you could actually use these venues to
Right. How many homeless veterans are there?
mm-hmm.
All of these people that could use help and that have given of themselves to help the country and to do things, or even people who have fallen into issues with drug abuse or mental health issues and they haven't been able to get the help that they need, and so they become homeless. And they could use these Olympic villages, they could use these Olympic stadiums, these facilities that just go to fucking waste. Why are we not doing something constructive with them? Why does the IOC get to come in and rape the land and fuck everybody over and then make money hand over fucking fist and then just flits off to another place to do the same thing to another place? That's fucking bullshit. Fuck the
It's
IOC.
like the only time they really used the stadium positively was during Katrina, and they used the Silver Dome,
Right.
to house all those people.
Right.
But I mean, that's an active football stadium. They're using it,
Exactly. So fucking maybe instead of making these Olympic villages to turn into ghost towns, maybe you repurpose them and you help people. You actually do something to improve the fucking world instead of just shitting all over it.
That should be the whole point. I think that was, and I see, I do a lot of travel around the country and seeing like the World Fair stuff still set up.
Mm-hmm.
Knoxville's a good example of it, where you have things that are basically just unused. They're right at 40 years old. They're maybe a little older now, but it's
attacked.
But it's crazy though. It's like you're right though. You do have all this stuff that's gets built, and not just here, but all over the world. And you're right. They just basically come in, they set it up, and hey, this is great for this event, this Olympics, whatever. And then, we're done with it. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Society.
Yeah, I just don't understand that. Like it should. You're right. It should be used for anything else.
Right.
I don't know. Yep. How about that WWE sale to Saudi Arabia?
Fuck the Saudis. Look, man, I'm just on a tear tonight. When I do end up dead after we post this because mysterious circumstances and shit, just make it known. Fuck them all.
That's all right. That's the reason why we're branching out. So post you, then we can keep this going.
You fucking dick. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess getting back to the main topic at hand, I really, dude, honestly, if they sell to the Saudis, I have no interest in WWE anymore. I'm done. I'm completely done. I will follow independent wrestling. I will follow Ring of Honor, AEW, Impact, whatever else. But I'm absolutely done with WWE, and it sucks because there's quite a few people that are in WWE that will never leave that I really like. Obviously, Sami Zayn will be done. Sami Zayn is 100% out.
I think there's a lot more than just him that would leave. Quite honestly,
him and KO, which those are two that
a lot of the women's division would leave.
Oh, I think the women's division.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think the women's division would be done legitimately. I think that they would just be like, you know what? All right, we're not gonna.
Hey, maybe that's how we can get Glow 2.0 though.
Listen, if that's what it comes to.
I mean, no, it's. I joke. I think you would see a good chunk of the roster not want to do anything with it, and part of me thinks because if you recall, the last time they were there, or the second to last time, they had the episode on the tarmac.
Yeah.
where they sat on the plane for like a day.
Wasn't I thought that was like 2 or 3 times ago.
I could have been, I don't know, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of like high profile people on that, and look, people forget things. People don't forget things like that.
Right.
When you're being basically held captive, you know, I don't know. Um, I think I was going through Twitter. Um, I think one of the things that I saw prevailing theme was that this was a leverage move, to try to short sale to somebody else that's actually bidding on it, whether that be a Comcast, NBC deal, or whoever. Um, it's a gross play, but business is dirty anyway. I honestly think that's what this is. I think this was a dirty move to add a few $1 billion to Vince's pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Just a guess.
So I want to read part of What Culture's original article when it was announced, when they thought that it was going to be, sold.
Mhm.
So let me read this real quick. And this is from whatculture.com. You can find them at whatculture.com, or you can find them on YouTube. They're awesome. So
Free plug, free plug.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm reading their
kidding.
shit. So
I know, I'm kidding.
people, many of them, remain disgusted, and rightly so, that WWE continued to sports wash a sadistic regime. But also, the level of backlash was absolutely nowhere near it was 4 years prior, when dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi vanished off the face of the earth amid reputable intelligence that he had been dismembered with a bone saw. This is how hellmouth capitalism works. It's so relentlessly unfair and awful that everybody simply becomes callous to horrible things because, newsflash, something horrible happens every single week. All of which is to state that, as awful as the probable news is, if you're somehow unaware, WWE has reportedly been sold to the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund and reverting to private ownership in the process. Nothing materially has changed. WWE is still a bad company. It is rotten. This is a company owner variously accused throughout his grim history of covering up murder and child molestation, encouraging a belatedly lethal drug culture, and generally treating its workforce like meat. If you were to rank every awful thing WWE has ever done in a 100-point list, the awful bullying to which Howard Finkel, as nice and as dedicated a man as this horror show of an industry was lucky to ever have involved in it, wouldn't make the drafting stage. If you think that under Triple H, because people seemed happier to work there and many talents were brought back after being fired, if anything, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were more overt than the old regime in embracing their benefactors. Don't cry for WWE. It's already dead. WWE hasn't magically turned heel. The only thing that's happened here is that Sting has taken off the Sting mask to reveal the Sting face paint.
That's a good way of putting it. I think we were more onto this maybe a year and a half ago, whenever we were talking about the what if, the sale part. Hey, we knew that this was going to be sold. Look, we knew that Vince wasn't going to live forever. Well, like I said this previously, we did not know that all these allegations would come out against him. Then having that Saudi deal in their back pocket already, I think, kind of pushes some buttons and gets things going, rumor mill wise, if you will. Again, I'm not saying yes or no that there wasn't a deal being brokered or not. I have no idea. I'm not there. I'm not in the room. I don't know. But then you have these oddball things like Stephanie resigning. The deal's already in place with the Saudi government for the next 6-7 years to do business with. Certainly would not surprise me. I think it would be odd, though, as egotistical as Vince is, to completely, essentially, kill a company off just to make sure that his ego survives one more day. Because at this point, most people realize that he's just a big POS. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know.
You're not wrong on that. But I also, my thing is, what is the state of the relationship between Vince and the rest of his family? Because if Vince knows that, if the rest of his family, if the relationship has gotten so bad, and he's just like, you know what, fuck it, I don't want any of them to profit off of what I built when I'm gone. If it's such a strained relationship that he's just like, fuck all of them, he might just fucking destroy it so that there's nothing left for them.
And I think that's one of the points that we brought up through our text threads. And Bink, I don't know if you'll kind of agree on this one or not. The Vince coming back part after sitting on the sidelines and basically seeing it succeed from a creative standpoint. The programming has been watchable. I'll say that for the most part for the last calendar year with him gone. If I can't have it, no one can.
Do you guys watch the series on HBO, Succession?
I've never watched it, but I've been hearing a lot
Just
about
just
that.
what you're talking about, like that show is absolutely killer. But there's your plug, HBO.
As they need it from us, of course,
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good series, and from what you're talking about, Bob, I see the similarities between that family and the family in Succession. So
And I've actually, people have been mentioning that a lot. Like, I haven't seen the show, but they've been saying this is playing out like
yeah.
the McMahons are the biggest fans of the show Succession on the
Mhm.
face of the
Yeah,
earth.
I was going to say it's funny you say that because I did see that word mentioned in a couple, tweets and stuff that I was like, I don't get it. I just thought it was
Mhm.
just mentioned as like, oh yeah, well there is some kind of succession to someone else. I didn't know. No, that's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I don't do the HBO thing. I'll have to find a way to check that out. But
I'll give you my password.
Yeah, I'll send you my shit.
I like both of you. Thank you. No, it's crazy though. You're right though, talking about how the family stuff is a big deal. Look, Shane had his fallout how many years ago?
Yeah.
And I say that because he did that bizarre thing where he tried to find a startup YouTube competitor in China and made basically no gains with it. It fell apart not too long after that, and then I don't really know what he did after that. I guess he just invested money and sat on his WWE stuff. I really don't know because that grew in the time he was gone. So he had to just basically be coasting off of whatever bank he had in there. But he comes back in a creative point and does a couple spots at Mania,
Yeah.
getting thrown off the Hell in a
Mhm.
Cell and whatever. But he's not in the limelight. Stephanie stepped aside. She comes back when Vince goes, she's gone again. So there's family stuff there, and then of course with all the transgressions of him and I'm probably improperly phrasing or not properly phrasing this, but with the harassment and allegations with the women, can't imagine that his with Linda's very good.
Nah, I don't think so. Oh, well, there were reports for how long that they haven't lived in the same house for years.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I don't know.
So like the Clintons.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I mean,
Mhm.
it's crazy though because you have this like I don't know, like the guy at some point has to just realize that I'm not going to have anyone left. Money's not going to make me happy.
Right.
Has to, right? I mean, or is he just that crazy?
Dude, honestly, I think he just doesn't, he's a vindictive old man. He does not give a fuck. He's past the point of caring if they don't, I'm sure with everything that's come out recently, not one of his family members could be happy with him unless they're just being sycophants and they're just trying to make sure they stay in the will. Um, I can't see him having a great relationship with anyone in his family aside from maybe if his grandchildren don't know You know, I don't know how old his grandchildren are, but if his grandchildren don't know, do you think that Stephanie and Shane are keeping the grandkids from him?
Who knows?
But that would be the only people that I would think at this point think anything good about him.
Hmm. That would
Because
be the smartest thing to do is keep the kids away.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it would be. And here's the crazy thing too, for years and years and years and years, and I know I gave that guy the benefit of the doubt, because I thought and I still think to a degree that he's a genius. I really do. Um, but look, sometimes your time is just up.
right,
And, then your life catches up to you.
right.
I mean, I
Well,
used to think the world. I used to think the world of Bill Cosby too.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
a lot
I haven't liked Vince since he was doing all the shit to ECW back 20 years ago.
but let's be real. So, like, dislike doesn't matter in the grand scheme as far as is the dude. I won't go so far as to call him a genius, but he's very smart and he's
Oh,
very
yeah.
fucking savvy.
Oh,
And
business savvy? Yeah. I mean,
you
he's
don't-
built nothing into $1 billion company.
right. You don't get to where you don't build a company to where he got WWE without having some intelligence and some business savvy. No
And
one can
stepping
ever
on
take that
heads.
away from him. No one can ever take it away from him.
Right.
No.
But what we can take away from him is dude is a horrible fucking person. And that I don't think anybody would dispute that. I just I don't see it.
I don't even know that he would.
No, you're right, and that's the thing too. I don't think that he would dispute that he's a horrible person. 'Cause I think even he knows. Like, look, no, I'm not a good person, but you know what? I fucking won. At the end of
I
the
mean, that's why
day,
everybody loved the shit that Stone Cold did to him.
right?
Oh yeah. Oh, that to this day, and I don't care. You could have the hottest storylines with whatever. Look, how hot was the NWO back then? How hot,
DX.
Yeah, exactly, DX stuff, or Mike Tyson jumping in.
Mhm.
You have all this stuff during the Attitude Era, and then that is what sticks out is the McMahon Austin feud. And not only that, if you really look at the longest timelines of things, and I know this has been talked about historically as far as top feuds, that's number one, first and foremost. So it's, I think that almost transcends it because, people realize like, hey, this guy's such a jerk on screen, not really realizing how much of a jerk he was off screen, but it worked,
Right.
and no, that's a good point. I mean, I would argue that that's probably in pro wrestling history, the best feud, or at least in storyline wise, probably for that reason. Yeah. I don't know. Here's my thing though. Okay, so and we're gonna obviously revisit this when we recorded the Rich, but
But once we know more too,
where do you go from here? With okay, this has been announced, then it kind of wasn't announced. What do you do? How do you play cleanup on this one?
I know they're already apparently trying to get out in front of it because with the talent because they've been having emergency meetings and stuff backstage. I don't know. I guess it really it really depends upon the roster and where they stand. Because look, it's not like unless you're an established star and you've been with the company for years, you may not be in a position where you can put your principles above your paycheck. I think we'd all like to say that if we were working for an organization and they started doing a bunch of untoward shit, we would just be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm out. But at the end of the day, we have bills to pay. We have people that rely on us, and we have to do what we have to do to make sure that stuff gets handled. Obviously, none of us are ever going to be in a position where it's like, well, shit, this organization is like, it's basically taking blood money at this point. We're not going to be in that situation. So it's really hard for me to say what
I
I
work for
really
the state of Illinois, so kind of.
Well,
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I work for Florida, so. But you know,
Yeah.
on the level that they are. Now
Right.
we could all go out and find jobs at fucking McDonald's or Wawa or fucking Walmart or whatever, and we're not gonna. That's not gonna be what we were trained to do. It's not what we've spent our lives trying to accomplish. These people have been trying their entire lives to accomplish this goal of making it to the World Wrestling Federation or World Wrestling Entertainment, or a professional wrestler. Yes, there's AEW. Yes, there's Impact. Yes, there's NWA shut down, didn't they?
No, I think did he? I don't know. It's still. I thought Billy Corgan's still doing some stuff there.
I don't
Or
know.
did he give it up on it?
I thought he gave up on it, but in any event, there are other wrestling organizations. But are you going to be able? But that's different as far as there's only so many wrestling organizations that are going to pay you what you can, what you're making, what you need to survive. So
are you saying that we need to find as of today the Noise Brigade Wrestling Federation?
Fuck it, let's go, man. Look, we all know. I mean, it would have to be TVMA for me to be on it because clearly I can't keep from fucking dropping a fucking F-bomb every other fucking word. But I did that on purpose there. But
no.
I mean, I would be a fucking announcer or a mouthpiece or something for somebody. I can't wrestle quite yet, but shit, if I have my own wrestling federation, I'll get in shape. Richie's already working on it.
Yeah, Bink, we got Skippy. He can do something. He's young.
Let's go, man. Let's do it. I'll be the Terry Funk of our organization.
That'd be pretty. That'd be good. No, I don't know. It's fun. I don't know where you go from here on this one. Like I said, I think this is a leverage move. I honestly believe that, and I still think the sale goes to a corporation or company. I don't think it goes to a government. I just don't see that make any sense to me.
I hope you're right. I honestly, I really hope you're right because otherwise I'm out and I don't want to be out.
I think the toughest part for me was hearing that and then not seeing it denied and then realizing this is something I've basically watched my entire life just go gone,
Right.
I think this with Vince coming back, with him being gone, and how much action they've had with the Saudis over the years, I think it's a done deal. I mean,
just kind of getting the news out there in front of it.
Right.
Yeah.
The biggest problem for me is whether they go with the Saudis or not. Vince is installing himself back in it when it had actually really improved without him. And now he's installing himself back in it. And so we're going to start to see shit change back. And all of the improvements that we've had over the last year are just going to go. They're gone. And then once that happens, honestly, sell to the Saudis because I don't give a fuck anymore. If Vince is going to be a part of it and if Vince is going to have his hand or his fingerprints all over it, it's going to start to suck again.
Mm-hmm.
And I I already pay minimal attention to it. So, I want to watch. I want to watch on a weekly basis, but it's going to make it that much harder to do. I struggle to watch as I can, and I don't struggle out of a want to watch it. It's just hard for me to watch it because of my work schedule and because of everything else. It just makes it difficult. But I watch it where I can because I still want to be invested in the product. I still watch all the recap shows on YouTube and stuff. I keep up with everything that's going on. I have an idea of pretty much every pay-per-view, what the major storylines going into it are, or premium live event.
Premium live event. Yeah.
What the storylines are going into it, so I can watch that. And if Vince is involved, and quadruple the amount if the Saudis are involved, I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Well, it's been interesting. Anyone have any last minute thoughts on well, because I think we'll have to get Richie's opinion on this, so we'll do a part two, or at least kind of finalize a conversation with him on this one. But Bink, you got anything last minute thoughts on? I know you just said that you think this is a done deal, but anything else to wrap this one up?
I'd like to quote Bob and say, "Fuck the Saudis."
Amen.